Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. My name is Juan Londoño and today we are reviewing the, I don't know how you say it, Nanuk or Nanuk, professional protective cases, specifically the 935. Now before we get going, I just want to say I am so grateful for you being on the channel with me. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time. I'm feeling great today. I had a great breakfast, feeling energetic, and just super grateful for everything that I have. And I hope you are too. So without further ado, let's get going. This is going to be, I don't know if it's an overview. It's more like an overview than a review, right? We're not going to put this thing to actual tests and stuff like that. It's going to be an overview, and I think that's what I called it in the title. So it's an unboxing and an overview. So I'm going to take out my handy little pocket knife here, and we're going to start this the right way by opening this box. Make sure that I don't go too deep with this blade. Anytime you open a box with a blade, make sure that you control the amount of tip that goes in, especially if you have clothing or anything that you can, anything delicate, because then it's actually going to tear or rip what you have inside, damage it. There's so many things that we get that are delicate. So, all right, so this thing is open. Let's see what we have. So the first thing you might notice, let's get this box out of the way. So, very simple box, kind of big, but not much bigger than the case itself. So it doesn't come in a box within a box. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that. It comes in a very simple plastic little bag, so technically speaking it could get wet because it wasn't sealed, but this thing is rugged, so I don't think they're worried too much about that. I would be more worried about this box getting dropped or punctured, because like I said, it's just a simple cardboard box. There's no protective nothing in there. I'm going to throw this inside the box. So here we are. This is the puppy we're talking about. It's actually very heavy. I should have looked at the weight. I'll put it on here because by the time I complete the editing of the video, I'll know it. This is what it looks like, right? It's a really nice case, very rugged. So that's just a quick unboxing, but I'm sure there are things inside. So let's open this thing up. Now, how do you open it? Let's look at that, right? We have latches here. You basically hold the latch down and you lift, and then you bring this part down. Hold the latch down, lift, and then bring this part down, and then it opens up to this, all right? Now I have these little cushion cones on the top, and I opted for the padding. I opted for the padding, not the little cubes that you shape and take out to whatever shape you want. I like the cubes. I've seen people that have those, and they'll take out just enough little cubes for the lens, and then for the flash, and then for the camera. But I find it restrictive because if any time later you change one of those lenses, or you decide that you don't want to carry that anymore, you want to carry something different, that's good if you're never going to change what you carry. I change what I carry, and if you do, think about that, because this option is a little more expensive. Maybe, I don't know, $25 more. But let's see. I'm going to put this down on the floor. I know you can't see right now, but actually let me do it this way. It's okay. So I think you can see here, right? So it looks like I can either tear this. Yeah, I can. Oh, well, there's tape here. Let's do that. Let's take this off. We're going to pull this padding out. So that's going to get us more plastic. Great for the environment. Someday we'll get rid of that. And there's an installation sheet, I guess, for installing the, there's nothing on the back, by the way. It has a picture, and then it shows you kind of how to install the dividers, but they're already installed. So it gives you ideas, right? And what you can use these things for. So let me take this out for a second. Let me show you the inside of the case, right? So this is the inside of the case. All right. Again, the cone cushion on the top and then empty on the inside. Now you wonder what these things are down here, right? It's for the wheels, right? You got to leave space for the wheels in there. And if that's not enough, let me put this back. So you'll notice that these have cutouts here, right? And these cutouts, these corners, are for the wheels. So it's going to go on the side of the wheels. If you put this tip, this corner here that's solid on the side of the wheels, you'll notice that it's not going to sit in very well. It's going to stick out. See how it sticks out over here, right? So we have to turn that around to the other side, and then when you do that, it goes flush inside, right? Okay, my sincerest apologies. I made an assumption when I said these were dividers that everybody knows what that is. So the little cube that you remove, the little foam cubes, if you don't know what those are, look those up. Just go into any of the social media like YouTube or Google or whatever, and search engines and just type foam cubes, foam cubed cases, and they'll show you like how to remove the little cubes and make room for your devices, right? For your electronics. But the way this works, let's open this up again, right? Down, up, and then this way, and then down, up, and this way, right? So when we open this, I want to show you, right? These are removable, right? You can take this, it's Velcro, right? You can take this off. You see how it comes around here? So if you need this whole compartment and you want to lay something down that's long, you take this little fella off and you put it over to the end, and it insulates you a little better, or you can put it in another bag if you don't want it in here, right? There is no case. Some of the things that you buy, the cases that you buy, will have like a zipper here or some kind of a case that you can stick things in. This one doesn't have that. I prefer this. I don't want stuff that I stick in the case to be the insulator for the cushion for things that are going to be bouncing around in here up and down. So I prefer this soft material, so that if I do have a lens in here that comes up and hits this, it's not hitting something delicate that I put in a case there. So love this. I don't care if there's no pocket there, but keep that in mind. If you are into pockets and you want to put more things, there are cases that offer, instead of this cushion, which is removable, by the way, you can actually buy, you can remove this and you can buy something that's this size that you can put there with zippers, and you can put batteries and all kinds of accessories. If that's cool for you, that's fine. Just remember that your lenses and your cameras and everything that bounces up is going to hit this stuff, okay? They don't tell you that. So you can configure this however you want. I would take a picture of this, just like right there, snap, and that way you know, because this is really convenient. If you look at these little slots, they're great for flashes, for battery packs, battery chargers, battery packs. These are perfect for lenses, right? You got a couple, you have one camera here, but I can easily just remove one of these guys and then put 2 cameras or even 3 cameras, right? Tons of lenses. If I take this little guy out, or actually this little guy out, then I have a lens here, a lens here, a lens here, a lens here, and then I have a flash in the middle, a flash here, and I can open this up for other stuff. So your versatility with these is absolutely beautiful. You can remove these and even lay them across the top. That's an extra cushion. Whatever makes you happy, but the cushion on the sides is very, very adequate. Not only is this freaking case, like I said, it's a tank, but this is very thick. So if you remove this little guy, you want to put it on the end, that's fine. There's the wheel thing I was talking about earlier. The wheel is in there, and it's protected by a little foamy thing, so your gear doesn't get hurt, okay? But it's not as thick as this. So if you have something delicate, I wouldn't put it in these 2 external ones. I would put it more like in the middle, like lenses. This would be cool for like the battery chargers and batteries and stuff like that. I would fill this with a little Ziploc bag and just throw them in here, Nothing's going to happen to them. So anyway, I wanted to leave you with that. This is, you can see the holes clearly here for the padlocks, right? And that's where we are with that. Okay, let's close this for a second. At least close one of the latches. The first thing I notice is that the latch is extremely, extremely rugged. but it's not TSA approved. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, if you wanted to put a lock on this, there are two holes. There's one here and there's one here. You can actually add two padlocks over here and over here. You can add two padlocks, you see? I'll show you the holes down there, right? So you can add two padlocks or one padlock, but if security needs to get into your bag for whatever reason, they're gonna cut that lock or they're gonna damage this thing trying to get in, right? So what you wanna do, and we're gonna do another video on this, is there's a way to take these latches, which, by the way, this is how you open them. You hold this thing down and you lift, and I think I showed it earlier. I was hoping that there was a better angle here. Hold it down, lift, and then you have this, right? There's a way to replace this whole latch with a TSA approved latch. And if you go on Amazon, I'll send you the link. I'll put it down below. I'll include it below. It's less than $25 for the pair. And what that does is it provides a lock and a key. And TSA has access to that key, you know, whatever the keying is for that lock. So you can lock it. It keeps most people away from the inside of this. And if TSA does need to get inside, they just put in that universal key that they have that opens all the TSA approved locks, right? And they don't damage your case. So I think that's super, super useful. For 25 more bucks after paying what you pay for this, I think it's well worth it. Now, one thing I noticed here, made in Canada, little logo. It's a sticker, you can pop it off. I kind of like it. Might leave it on for a little while. Maybe I'll take it off, I don't know, haven't decided. But let's look at the back of this thing, right? Looking further at the ruggedness of this, let's combine a few things here. I want to combine kind of like some of the features and the ruggedness. We're going to talk about both at the same time, okay? The ruggedness of this thing is sensational. When we opened it up earlier, if I showed you, it has a gasket that goes all around the lid, right? And it seals this thing air and watertight, which is fantastic if you have gear in here that's expensive, like we all do, right? It's a metal hinge that runs across this whole thing. And what I like about this is that you can remove it. This is really cool. I didn't know this. I mean, I don't know if they tell you this in the description or not, but I don't know if you can see this, but over here, there's a steel, like a stainless steel rod, and it goes all the way through, and it has a little handle. And you can take each one from each side and pull them out, and this lid will pop right off. You know, I don't know what the use is. Maybe to clean it if it gets really dirty. Maybe, I don't know. I have no idea. But I like it. Maybe in case it gets damaged, it's something you can replace. If this lid gets damaged, you can replace the lid without buying a whole new case. I think it's cool. So, water sealed, weather sealed, however you want to call that. The inside, very rugged. Let's close it up again because I'm going to show you something on the back. One of the things that I really like about this is the handles. Right? This handle just pops right back. Like, it doesn't stay up. Like some of the cases, it'll slant to one side or slant to the other, and then it stays up and gets caught and stuff. This has a spring-activated system that just pops it back down again. See that? Kind of cool. Very solid. I don't feel like this is going to break with the kind of weight that we put in here, camera gear. Maybe if you put something a lot heavier, it might, because it has steel pins going through here. A set of 4 on the bottom and on the top. But this is very, very rugged plastic, and it's got a comfortable rubber handle on the bottom so it doesn't hurt the hand. This is fantastic. The design of this handle is really one of the nicest I've seen. So check this out. The handle for walking is really cool. Most of the ones I've seen, including Pelican, the handle just, you kind of give it a jolt, you know, a hard pull, and it unlocks. And then you just pull it out and you walk with it, right? Well, this one, you have to push a button down, and then you can lift it, right? And you can lift it for different heights. There's 2 different heights, 1 and 2. And just so you know, I'm 6'1". I used to be 6'2", but I guess Age has something to do with that. I just want to show you something. This is perfectly, my arm is bent right here. I can walk with this without having to hunch over while I'm pulling it. This is extremely comfortable if you're 6'1", if you're 6'2". Now if you're 6'3", this might be like a borderline thing for you. You know, it might become a little uncomfortable, but at 6'1", it's totally comfortable. And if you, of course, if you're shorter than that, then you can adjust this thing even lower. And of course, the bottom line of what I wanted to show you is that when it locks, it can actually be used as another handle because it doesn't come out. Also, rubber coated. There's a rubber, you know, unit that goes around this hard plastic. It just makes it really comfortable. Both of these handles on the vertical side and then on the horizontal side, check this out. I love this. This handle stays down and you have to kind of pry it out of place if you want it to be, you know, stand out, and then you carry the case and it kind of wiggles, but if you want it back down again, you push it down and it stays. It's really cool. Another thing that doesn't get caught, you know, on things where you're pushing it into the luggage rack. Now, one thing that you're going to see here, right over the handle, is this little thing. I should have pointed it out first. It's right here. It's a pressure release valve. So when you load this with camera gear down, you know, sea level or whatever, air is going to be in this bag, right? And you're going to close it, you're going to shut it, and it's airtight. Now you get on an airplane that goes 30,000 feet up plus, 30,000 plus, and there's no pressure in that area where the luggage is. And what ends up happening is this is going to be like a bomb. It's ready to explode because there's so much pressure inside and there's no pressure around the outside, right? So this valve is automatically adjusted. It's how do I word this? Auto adjusting, right? So it's going to slowly let that pressure out while that airplane is climbing, and then when the airplane is descending again, your bag is inside, it starts letting pressure back in naturally. So the gear doesn't suffer, it doesn't do it like in one blow. A lot of these bags had a button that you pushed and it would release the pressure like immediately. This is a much better design, right? It's just auto adjusting, so that's really cool. To top off the review, the cool thing about this case is that it is the perfect size for carry-on. So I think it's 22 inches long by 14 by 9. And let me see if it says that on here, because that is what I remember reading anyway. And so you can carry, of course, firearms, but not in the airport, right? It's, you know, we'll go into that, the uses of this thing. So yes, 9 inches tall by, 14 inches wide, and then it's 22 inches long. So perfect for carry-on. Now, the reason that's so important is something we're going to talk about later in this video. If you look at the external design, there are a bunch of, it's structurally very sound, right? You have all these, I forget what they're called. It's like fins, just really thick plastic fins that are in place here. See all of this stuff? That just makes it even more rugged, and they're all over the top. The lid is, you know, you could probably roll a car over this thing. It's not going anywhere. So, very rugged, kind of heavy. If you're expecting this thing to be light, not the case. No pun intended. This is not the case here, and it's probably true if you buy like a Pelican case. It's also going to be very heavy because the plastic material is just extremely dense and rugged, right? And you want that when you have expensive gear in here. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. I'm sure it's going to be heavy when I take this thing on my first trip, but luckily it rolls. Let's talk about the wheels. So on the bottom here, you have these polyurethane wheels. Now, we're going to talk really soon. We're going to get into the comparison here of, say, a Pelican case versus this. And there are pros and cons to these polyurethane wheels. There's pro and cons to many things, right? Most of life is full of pros and cons. So We're going to talk about many things, including the latches, the lock latches, the wheels, the extended handle here, right? Because Pelican does it one way, Nanuk or Nanuk, however you say it. I wish I would have found that out before. I think it's Nanuk. Anyway, let's just call it Nanuk between you and I. By the way, back to the wheels. This rolls extremely quietly and smooth. My gosh, it's a pleasure to roll this. Stands up firm. I mean, there's no wobble here really. This is just a really, really nice case. And at the end, we'll talk about how much it costs and how much some of the competitors are costing, and whether it makes sense to buy this or to buy like the real thing, if you want to call it that, which is a Pelican. Although, you know what, this is the real thing too, right? This is just beautiful. Or if there's a cheaper alternative. Let's begin the comparison between Nanuk and Pelican. So right off the bat, I can tell you that this thing, I paid about $200 for it. I think right now it went up a little bit. I think it's at $223 or so on Amazon. The equivalent Pelican with the extended, walking handle is about $100 more, almost exactly $100 more, 102 or something like that, right? So what do you get for when you buy the Pelican? So one of the things that neither case did very well was highlighting like the safety drop height that this case can still survive, and a Pelican as well. But I'll tell you one thing. I think these things are so durable that the equipment inside is actually going to suffer before the case does. And what I mean by that is just gravity, right? Say you drop this from 10 feet. I don't think anything's going to happen to this case, to be honest with you. The equipment, however, is going to go from something like at 10 feet, probably like 30 miles an hour to 0 in a fraction of a second. It's just going to bang, right? The lenses inside, the camera has a sensor, mirrors, glass, the lenses have a bunch of magnets and gyros. That stuff, when it goes at 30 miles an hour and just bam, that stuff's going to come loose, right? So at that point, the case, yes, the case is insulated, and if you get the one with the foamy cushions that you pull out, and maybe it's a little more insulated, but the equipment is still going to suffer. So that's the advantage of those little foam cubes that you pull out and you shape into the lens and your camera. I think there's more insulation there if you really are worried about those high drops. Between you and I, the padding is probably good enough. The kind of drops that I worry about, putting this thing into the trunk of my car or my truck, it might fall 4 feet, 3 feet if it's the car. Not enough probably even for the equipment to suffer inside of here. Maybe a person putting this into the airplane, it'll slip out of their hands. It's that kind of thing. This is what we're talking about. Maybe somebody knocks it over, right? And it does that, it falls. This is most of the time what you're going to be dealing with, right? Or somebody, it slips out of their hand while they're walking, right? And they're carrying it. I don't think you're going to be dealing with more than that. So for most of us, this versus a Pelican case, which is another $100 more, is not going to make a difference. I think, so just to give you an example, the Pelican case probably lets you drop it, and I'm guessing here, I'm just being practical and logical. The Pelican case charges you $100 more. It's probably a little more rugged, and maybe you can drop it 13 or 14 or 15 feet before the case, starts to suffer. But again, it's the stuff inside that's going to suffer first. So 10 feet versus a Pelican that you can drop at 15, I think the stuff inside is damaged regardless, unless it's surrounded by the foamy things, in which case you probably can go that height and drop it, right? But do you and I have to worry about that? Probably not. Another thing I noticed about the Pelican versus Nanuk is the wheels, right? This is a polyurethane wheel. It's a really soft rubber, not a soft rubber, it's a hard rubber, but compared to the Pelican wheels are basically like plastic discs. Now on this floor that we just had put in, I would be afraid of rolling it. Like if my kid was playing around the house running with I wouldn't let that happen. This is a rubber polyurethane wheel. Soft, rubbery, gentle on anything that it rolls, right? And it's gonna feel really nice walking outside in the concrete. So again, for me, this is more comfortable. Do I need a hard plastic disc like the Pelican offers? Well, if you're gonna drop that thing really from a height and it lands on one of these wheels, these rubber wheels are probably shot. I think it's gonna break off. The Pelican is made for it not to break off. So it falls off the cargo door of a plane and it falls 10 feet, the Pelican is more likely to survive that drop, right? And you know what? When they use these things for the military, the police use them to carry guns and weapons and ammo and all kinds of sensitive gear, electronics, maybe it makes more sense to own the Pelican, right? It's ruggedized, it's militarized. This does come approved, and I forgot what it is. Let me check real quick. So looking at the case right here, it's IP67 rated, which is waterproof to 1 meter or 3.3 feet, right? So is the Pelican rated for a deeper depth, right? Is it rated for a higher drop? You know, maybe, right? But again, you have to ask yourself, what kind of environment? If you're like a journalist and you're going out there in combat, or you're in really dirty areas where you're jumping in and out of helicopters and small planes, maybe that $100 investment on the Pelican is safer for you, right? For most of us that use this to travel, you know, to other states and other countries just to do our photography for landscapes and weddings or whatever, this is more than adequate. This is a tank. This freaking thing is a tank. I can't tell you how well built this is. The other big difference between the Pelican and this case is that the Pelican I mentioned earlier, you can pull this extended handle and it starts to extend. There isn't a lock. I love this lock. I think it's plastic, although it looks like metal. It really, I mean, this isn't going anywhere, my gosh. Right, it's just really nice, really rugged. This is plastic. I think the Pelican is as well, because they're trying to reduce the weight. All of this black back here, this black, is thick plastic. And this thing, it's nice that it kind of goes on the outside of the case, but I think all in all, the 11 inches height, actually was it 11 or 9? Whatever that dimension was, it was 9. 9 for this height, is including the black piece here, okay? So don't worry that you're gonna go to the airport and then they're gonna say, oh, your case is 9, but then there's an extension here for the handle here. No, that extended black piece is part of the 9 inches that they measure. So this is totally legal for inside carry-on, inside the plane, okay? Let me stop real quick to talk about options. This came in different color options. Now, why the heck would I pick this loud blue? And is this something that you would have done, right? You might be thinking right off the bat, no freaking way. I'm gonna pick black, or I'm gonna pick like the dark gray or something like that. That's what I originally thought. But you know why I went with this loud color? And I think, you know, they also have like yellow and red. I could have gone with one of those as well. But this is loud enough, trust me. It looks a little more sublime in here because the light is dim. But outside, this thing screams blue. This is like the Suzuki blue, if you're like a motorcycle enthusiast. So what I like about a color like this is that, here, let me give you a scenario. I'm carrying this thing into the plane, okay? And it's my only carry-on luggage because I want my lenses and my cameras with me and all my whatever's in here. And I get to the door of the airplane. As you walk down that long tube when you get to the airplane that keeps you protected from the weather. And many times they'll say, no more room on the inside for carry-on luggage. At this point, everybody remaining to come into the airplane has to check in a bag. And a person will open a little door and run up the stairs from the outside where the airplane is, from the ground. And they will start with their computer putting tickets on these with your name and your information, and then they give you a receipt. And then your bag disappears. I've seen this so many times. And luckily I was only carrying like a backpack and I could put it under the seat in front of me, right? People have a carry-on and it's not rugged at all, right? And sometimes they have delicate things in there. It could be a delicate headset, it could be something like that, right? Something they're carrying for somebody that's glass, and they have to check it and it goes into the airplane. Now I'm sure they're a little more careful with those types of bags that they know they're taking from people as they're walking into the airplane, that people weren't originally intending to check in. But man, I would hate, you know, I have a soft bag, which is a Manfrotto. It's a heck of a rugged bag, but it's soft, it's cloth, right? Very insulated, the dividers are wonderful, but it's a backpack, right? And if I'm walking into the plane with that, it doesn't necessarily fit under the seat. If they tell me, sorry sir, you have to check that in, I would have the most horrible flight in the world, wondering what was happening to my gear, bouncing around in the cargo bay in that bag. I'm looking at it right now because I just came from a trip and I was using it because it was in my car. But if I'm traveling and they come up to me and say, sorry sir, you have to check this in, I'm gonna go, beautiful, here you go. Put a ticket on it, give me the stub, and I'll go to the luggage area, right? Claiming area, and I'll pick this up when I get to my destination. But here's the thing. This is why this color comes in, right? A loud, obnoxious color. And probably the more obnoxious you can make it, the better. If you are coming out of your airplane, here's a second scenario, and you happen to need the restroom, and you stop in for, 5-10 minutes, and now you're walking down and you're looking for, baggage claim, right? And you get to the baggage claim, the bags are already out, people have already taken their stuff, and you're not in a friendly city or in a city that checks this. I know New York City, when you, LaGuardia anyway, when you're leaving the baggage claim, they stop you and they say, can you show me your stub? And they look at the stub on the bag and they compare the two to see if this is your bag. And then they say, thank you very much, have a nice evening, have a nice day, whatever. Many airports that I've been to don't do that. So anybody can walk away with this. If they see this thing, it looks rugged, maybe it looks like it has something really cool inside, they can grab it and just walk really fast. Now, if this is black or dark gray, I'm probably not gonna know. I'm gonna be walking towards the baggage claim area. I may be 100 or 50 feet away, and this person's walking away with this black Pelican, and I might not see that. I mean, I may be even looking for that, but it's gonna blend in with all the other bags in the airport, and it's not gonna scream anything. If I see somebody walking away with this color Pelican case, if you wanna call it that, it's a Nanuk, with this color, Nanuk case, that's gonna scream across the floor, and I'm gonna go, whoa, 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 excuse me. I just wanna make sure that's not mine, because I'm on my way to baggage claim. You don't have to be rude about it. You can say, I wanna make sure it's not mine. Can I check the stub on there? And, if there's no stub, then you can say something like, this key opens mine, do you have your key? And then you can catch them in the act. They're gonna claim probably that it's a mistake, and then they're gonna freaking disappear before you call cops. But if it's not yours, then it was a real true coincidence, because look at this color, right? And it's an Nanuk, so what are the chances of that, right? But now you know, right? If this tip was useful for you, please give me a like below on your left. And if you subscribe to the channel down on your right and you hit the little notification bell, it'll let you know when the next video is out, so you can see how I replace these latches for the TSA approved latches that I already bought, by the way. And we're gonna put those on here, and we're gonna make this TSA approved so that you can use a key, because right now I'd have to put a padlock on this, and then again, security will break this thing open however they can. They may not want to struggle with the padlock, they may just break this thing open, right, with some kind of a circular saw if they really are in a bind to check something in here. So don't give them the opportunity to do that. You're not going to get your money back for that. So, get your TSA approved locks, like I said, less than 25 bucks. So really all that's left, and maybe this ended up being kind of a review, but I intended it to be an overview. All that's left now is the price. Like I said, I got it for about 200. I think it was 199. Right now it's about 223. And on Amazon, maybe you can find it in other places. You're going to see the different colors. if you travel at all and you're afraid that one of these days they're going to ask you to leave your, you know, your bag with them so they can check it into the airplane, this is the only way I want to have a comfortable flight, and I'm not going to be sweating bullets worried about my gear, because I have some pretty expensive gear now. I've put a lot of money in the past couple of years on gear, and I don't want that stuff. I mean, I take care of my stuff, right? So that's what I leave you with. I hope this review or overview, whatever you want to call it, was useful. If that tip on the color was like I said, was any good and you like it, please like the video. It means a lot to me, and it allows me to keep putting content like this out, right? The more people we get viewing these. So, love you guys. Thank you for sticking around. Sorry for the informality of sitting on the floor. It was my little meditation cushion, so I'm really comfortable here. I wanted to show you what this thing looked like in proportion to me. So you can see it's not that big or obnoxious. It's the true size. Many places will tell you that their cases are carry-on size, and they're actually a little bigger. And if they actually put it in one of those cages where it measures, and this doesn't fit in that cage, you're not traveling with it. It's going to go in luggage, and then you're going to have to pay. So this is a true carry-on. I love that they're true to the size in every aspect. Nothing sticks out. It is, all the dimensions are within, you know, everything that's contained here. So what I wanted to tell you is options. We talked about options. If you want to go with the Pelican, it's going to be about $100 more. Like I said, this thing, you know, can come out. There are rubber accents in some of the handles on Pelican, but they're really more about rugged and strong, so there's a lot more hard plastic. The wheels, like I said, are not going to be this soft polyurethane, right? They're going to be these thick plastic discs, and maybe more rugged, but they make a lot of noise as well, right? This is totally quiet. Kind of cool, right? So those are the big advantages. The Pelican, I noticed, came with the TSA approved latches. Remember, I think it's $23 for the pair. So you take this $200 and you add the 23, or actually now it's 223, and you add the 23. It's still much cheaper than the Pelican, and like $75 cheaper. And you get an amazing case, maybe with more color options. You know, go out there and check for yourself, see what the options are if you really are concerned. If you're not concerned about 15-foot drops, you know, a tank running over it, dropping in the middle of the ocean for extended periods of time, if that's not going to happen to you, trust me, this is overkill. This is probably more than you'll ever need. This is going to bury me. I mean, it's going to take me to my grave. This is an amazing, amazing, amazing case for $200. I can't be happier. There are competitors out there that are thinner, seem a little chintzier. The wheels seem a little chintzier. Things are not as rugged, and they cost $180. I don't know, for 20 to 40 bucks, is it worth it? I mean, at that point, you're better off carrying a case like the one I have, the Manfrotto, which is a little lighter, and it's cloth, right? If you don't need the protection. If you need protection, I wouldn't do anything less than this. And then up from here, of course, is the Pelican, which is a militarized, you know, rugged for the Army and Marines and all that. So, thank you very much once again. Love you guys. Until the next time. Please take care of yourselves. We didn't drink anything today. I had a tea and I didn't drink it. Didn't have my water, but until the next time, ciao for now.